Hey, how y'all doing? This is Mandela effect now. I'm gonna talk about all the stuff that's happening with them changing times and spraying these chemicals, and it's got multiple reasons and multiple purposes. One is, your body breaking down, your back, your nose bleeding, your tailbone hurting, and they study using the chemtrails, putting the aluminum in your brain so that they can increase the frequency and try to mind manipulate and mess with your brain and stuff like that. But this stuff has been getting ridiculous. Backs are beginning to hurt and stuff like that. Now, the tailbone, I thought it was just because I was getting old or something, but it happened suddenly. I mean, woke up one day and in the middle of my buttocks was hurting. I'm like, oh Lord, I gotta go to the doctor. But I was watching a video a little earlier and somebody said, they tailbones was hurting. And I'm like, man, that's what's going on. It's causing all kinds of problems. And, my nose was bleeding. I'm like, and I ain't never had no nosebleed. And I've been in Memphis. I was in Memphis, and it was 110 and 20 degrees, and this ain't nothing but 80 and 90. So, I ain't old, but I ain't never had no nosebleed as young as I am. So yeah, I know all of this is reason why this stuff is happening. Messing with the timeline and with all these metals and these chemtrails. And I got a whole lot of pictures of how the chemtrails look, And so this is not natural, this is not crisscross, tic-tac-toe. They spreading this in the air all the time. And these chemicals are going in your body. And then the metal, they can use the cell phone towers to do different frequencies. So it's a whole lot of stuff that's going on about this Mandela effect that's greater than just changing time. They changing our body structure. They changing our thinking pattern and stuff like that. And so I'm just letting people aware. You got a whole lot of things that symptoms that let you know something going on. And this is not an injury of something when you was younger or when you was if you was a basketball player and stuff like that. These are injuries that you ain't never did no sports. You ain't never had these kind of elements going on. But these chemtrails and this manipulating the timeline is messing up stuff. Look at this. Chemtrail right over the cell phone towers, causing nosebleed. I ain't never had my nose bleed, and the headaches are getting worse and worse. But I got a video that explains some of it.
And I started looking at the skies, and these are not normal. They're not natural. There's something going on. I don't know who it is or why they're doing it. All I can testify is it's not natural and it's not normal. It's got to be some outside influence doing that. Thank you.
I'm here to give you testimony that chemtrails, they're not contrails, are indeed real. They're spraying almost every day. I watch the clouds and watch the spraying program going on. I want to tell you that we're in very great danger from the pollution that's coming down over us. And we've been led astray by the military-industrial complex, and they're responsible for the cloud's creation and weather manipulation programs. They're dark operations. That's why they're not out in the media.
I look around and I see people are starting to look up and see this. Many times I've spoken about chemtrails, and I get this blank look on my face. What are you talking about? I'm saying, look up. As a pilot, before I fly, I look up. And so, boy, they're really out there working.
When you look up at the sun and you see a white haze, that is aluminum floating in the air right now, and it's coming from the aircraft.
There's a huge amount of aluminum being found because these sprays have aluminum, strontium, barium, manganese, And there's a lot of argument that aluminum is very common to be found, but aluminum is only common in a bonded form. It's not common in a free form, and we're finding high rates of free aluminum in the soil, which is not natural.
The metal compounds that are being used are environmentally dangerous. We need to be monitoring them. We need to be testing them.
Okay, these previous guys, I've watched exactly what they do, and yes, they are correct. I've seen exactly the same stuff, so ditto marks on those. You want some figures? Okay, latest water test, tested the rain. 13,100 micrograms per liter of aluminum in the rain in 2013. Normally, it should be 0. So 13,100 is pretty damn much, folks. It used to be 0, then it was 100s in the 2000s, and then since 2010, it's into the 1,000s and the latest 13,100. In the snow on Mount Shasta, pristine Mount Shasta, 61,000 micrograms per liter, 4 times the amount that is found in the soil up there. Where in the hell is this stuff coming from if it's not coming from the soil?
We have clouds in the sky we've never seen before. Almost every day I'm seeing clouds I've never seen before. And NASA has been even named a few of these new clouds. It's really interesting, but NASA is a corporation. I want you to know that.
NASA has also conducted a research program in what they call metallized fuels. We're actually putting aluminum oxide right in the fuel because it has 2 atoms of aluminum and 3 atoms of oxygen. So during the combustion process, it releases all that oxygen and dramatically increases efficiency, but it leaves the aluminum in the air.
We got things coming from sky down, and it's a huge, huge problem. Because as it comes down, what happens is a couple of things. Is that it actually is in our air, we breathe it. And as we breathe it, it's actually going to go up to our nostrils, into our brain, easiest access to our brain frontal lobe. The contaminants that have been identified, which already been mentioned, are aluminum. Aluminum is the #1 free radical generator to the brain to cause early apoptosis, which is early death of brain, and it begins to set off the scar tissue, which we call the amygdalin, which is part of the chemical matrix related to Alzheimer's.
I'm a neurologist practicing in Reading for 17 years, and in the past 5 years, I've seen the number of patients with Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, and other neurodegenerative diseases tremendously increased, almost quadruple.
I became interested in chemtrails about 8 years ago when I was in Hawaii, and the Hawaiians are really being very vocal about it. I concur about the increasing number of Alzheimer's. They have been able to take the aluminum